Guys, this international break looks like it's not going on well as planned for the side of Arsenal. I told you Arsenal has 13 plus players out for the international break, but it looks like another worry for David Raya has gone ahead to uprise as he really played only 45 minutes yesterday as Spain lost to Colombia by 1-0. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really having fun. Don't forget to subscribe because we want to hit 20,200 subscribers before the end of today. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the president of Barcelona addressing the stories that had gone ahead obviously be put out. I did that story that they feel like they should try to convince Javi to say that he doesn't go anywhere and really revert, you know, his decision of leaving Barcelona in the summer of 2024. And lastly, we are going to discuss something concerning the man himself, that he is Antonio Conte, coming in through to come and really play a part in the management of Chelsea for the second time, having gone ahead to be sacked way back, I think, was it 2018, 2019? All that and more into the comment section below. The Muslims, Ramadan Mubarak. The Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and may the living to God bless you abundantly in here for you. How many likes? 300 likes on this video, and let's see to it that it obviously goes miles. Now, we have a story coming in from Spain indicating that David Raya was substituted at halftime yesterday while playing for Spain versus Colombia. You know, that shows you exactly that something was not right. Something was not right to substitute off this lad, because the 45 minutes he had kept a clean sheet. And there is no reason as to why they would have gone ahead to take him off, to see to it that they get on another player if at all he wasn't really that good. So that indicates that something was wrong. He had some discomfort in his body. That's why he was really taken off. Was it a precaution? We wait an official address coming in through from the Spanish side, but according to we, the viewers, according to we, the people who add dots, I think he might have gone ahead to get an injury, and we just have to assess. They just have to assess to see how far and how keen that injury is gonna be. You know, that is really very important, because you wouldn't like to miss out on a player like David Raya. If it was done for precautionary effects, or for a precautionary cause, that was really important, and I give them a 5-finger salute. But if he's really injured seriously, then it's really gonna hurt Arsenal a lot, because when you're going the game of Man City, you wouldn't like to see it that you're having David Raya joining Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Magalhaes and Martinelli. Those are 4 players that are really beautiful, that are really very important in their respective platforms. For example, David Raya has come in the club of Arsenal, and we've gone ahead to see to it that his elite ball distribution is a very good shot stopper, and he has gone ahead to really integrate well with the back 4 of Arsenal of Benjamin White, Jakub Kiwior, then Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. So if I told you you're missing him out, that means you're losing out on a very important piece into your jigsaw, because for Aaron Ramsdale, he's rusty. He's good. He can come and get the business done on any day, but he has not been doing what we call competitive football. That's why you saw to it that when he played against Brentford, however much he had 90% of his game clean, he went ahead to make one mistake that resulted into him conceding an equalizer. And if it was not that Kai Havertz header that came in through in the dying minutes, trust me, every Arsenal fan would have gone ahead to go in for Aaron Ramsdale and said that's why Arteta brought in David Raya, because you are just one mistake away from obviously costing us the title. You understand? So it is really not good news for Arsenal that towards the game of Man City, you are missing out on your goalkeeper. Then we are talking about Bukayo Saka. He's the only left-footed player that has gone ahead to effectively perform onto the right attacking side of the midfield of Arsenal, and they will need him badly into that game. Gabriel Magalhaes, you know, I reached an extent to believe that he is really looking better than William Saliba this season. Yep, I reached that extent, you know, because he has gone ahead to score 4 Premier League goals. Defensively is good, and Arsenal has gone ahead to keep very many clean sheets. David Raya has kept more clean sheets in the Premier League than any other goalkeeper. He has 9. Andre Onana has 8. You know, I think, Alisson Becker also has 8. Pickford has like 7 in there, or 8. So you can't lose out on a defender who complements with the goalkeeper very well to keep all those clean sheets. So it shows you that Arsenal wouldn't like to get that as a story after the international break. All they would love to see is David Raya getting back on his foot, returning to play against Man City next weekend. Remember, today is a Saturday. 7 days left for the side of Arsenal to take on the side of Man City. And I tell you what, this is the story they wouldn't like to obviously come up, you know. It's a story they wouldn't like to come up to obviously disrupt their season. All what Arteta would love to see is David Raya to play in the game of Man City. When you look at Martinelli, we've all known that the first choice left forward of Arsenal is Martinelli. He's loved a lot by Mikel Arteta, and Arteta has gone ahead to orchestrate to add that he needs players with pace to play onto that position. That's why he was going in for Mikhailo Modric, because he wanted like get off Gabriel Martinelli for like 6 minutes, add on another skill-setted speed merchant, you know, in Mikhailo Modric, and he wanted to really have that as his pair to compete onto that side. That's why he brought in Trossard, who is not as fast as those two, because they had gone ahead to miss out on a player of that quality. So, as it stands, it's not good news for the club of Arsenal, and you wait to see what the side of Spain is really going to show us. But he started and played 45 minutes, and 15 minutes later, after he was taken off, you know what happened? They conceded, and Spain ended up losing to Colombia by 1-0. And I don't know why Unai Simon, who's not the goalkeeper that was brought on the field of play. That is it. I don't know why Unai Simon wasn't the goalkeeper who was brought on the field of play, and they started to go in for Alex Remiro, who is a goalkeeper for Real Sociedad. I don't know why Unai Simon has gone ahead to drop off a lot. But I really know that Unai Simon, I think he's a goalkeeper for Bilbao, and there is no way you cannot really get into a goalkeeper who is really performing very well at an elite club like Arsenal, you know, leading the table and performing very well into your stitches. I think he's gonna take that slot, and even in the Euros, he might be the first choice goalkeeper of that side, because Arsenal is in the quarterfinals because of David Raya saving 2 penalties. Then they're also competing into the league, and he's the most clean-sheeted goalkeeper in the Prem. So he has all what it's deserved to see to it that he gets himself into that position of being the first choice goalkeeper of Spain, because he is leading the table in the best league in the world, that is the Premier League. So you see, David Raya was in goal. This was the lineup of Spain. David Raya was in goal. Pedro Porro played as a right back. Alex Grimaldo played as the left back. Vivian, right-sided centre-back. Joan Laporte, left-sided centre-back. Zubimendi and Merino played in the double pivot. Salabia, right attacking midfielder. Oyarzabal played as a left attack midfielder. Moreno played as a central attack midfielder, and Joselu led the line. By the way, the side of Spain will looked weak. It really looked weak, and there is no way they could survive the likes of Luis Diaz. And it was in the 61st minute they went ahead to concede, and David Raya had already gone ahead to be taken off. Meaning that for David Raya, he had gone ahead to keep a clean sheet by the time he went off. So that is David Raya for you. So we are waiting for the news coming in from the physio side of Spain on what exactly happened to get this guy off, because you can't tell me that you can take off a goalkeeper who had gone ahead to keep a clean sheet. Why? You know, no reason. So there might be a worry of an injury, and we'll come here to address it very, very soon if at all an update has been provided. I think on Wednesday I came here and did a story concerning Barcelona trying to convince Javi to stay, and it looks like they wanted to turn heel on the decision they had gone ahead to make in between Javi and Joan Laporte. And the president today has been speaking to the media, and he was asked onto this story, and this is what he had to tell us. Javi insists on saying he won't change his mind and is going to leave in June, but we'll see. I still hope to keep Xavi next season, but it's only up to him. So, Joan Laporte looks like he wants to keep Xavi here because of how the team is performing, how he's integrating the youngsters from the academy into the first team of Barcelona. It's really amazing. I told you I was going to have to bring in close to 7 or 8 youngsters into the team of Barcelona, and they're really performing very well. Javi gonna hate to knock Napoli out in a very convincing way in Catalonia by I think 3-1. Laporte has really found a reason to keep him, and it said if at all Xavi takes Barcelona to the semi-finals of the Champions League, Joan Laporte will be like, you are going nowhere. I would love to keep you here, and don't even think about going elsewhere. So that's the plan of Joan Laporte, but he says Xavi is adamant, he is adamant, and that is his stance. There is no way he's going to change his stance. I told you their managers have gone ahead to see change or revert their decisions. Was it 2001, 2002? Sir Alex Ferguson was like, I'm going to really hang my boots and really quit. But he was later convinced by the board of Man United to obviously stay for one more decade. So even for Xavi, with the love he has for Barcelona, I feel inside me that it's hard for him to reject this move of really saying, I'm going to really stay here, because if he performs very well and Barcelona really promised him that I'm going to get you players, we are backing you for this, I think he will stay. But he was asked when that statement was made by him that he's really going to leave the side of Barcelona on whether if at all they win the Champions League, he will stay. He said, no, even if we win the Champions League, I'm not going to stay. And it looks like players are playing to say bye-bye to their manager, to bid what we call a well-deserved farewell for him, because for the La Liga, it looks like it's hard for him to trace and really get to know where the La Liga is because of the points that are really dividing, that are really that they are really having behind the table leaders, that is Real Madrid. Real Madrid is having 72 points and Barcelona is having 64 points. And as we speak right now, they've gone ahead to play 28 games, meaning that 10 games are really left. But with 10 games left, I tell you, 8 points are really little. But that will require for Barcelona not to lose any game. And it means that for Real Madrid, out of the 30 points left, all they need are 22 points. Those are 7 wins and 1 draw. That is it. 7 wins and 1 draw, and then the rest will be history. They would have gone ahead to lift the La Liga. Remember last season, it is Barcelona that lifted the La Liga, and Real Madrid walked out of the season empty-handed. Don't you remember that? So it looks like it's one of those moments that are really gonna come in through to happen in the best way of Barcelona, but looks like they're off the league and they're looking to win the Champions League. And trust me, every team in the quarterfinals right now can really win the Champions League, because if you knock out one team, you are just one step away to the final. And you know what can happen in the semi-finals, The way we saw Inter Milan playing this final last year was really very surprising, because AC Milan, the team they are playing, had a lot of pedigree, but the way they annihilated it, obviously went ahead to knock it out, to go ahead and really play into the final with Man City, where Man City went ahead to win by 1-0, is really one of those moments that you reckon in the game of football. So that is Joan Laporte for you, and the replacements have been already lined up. De Zerbi, Alonso, Hans Flink. That's the list of the people they expect to come in through and really play part into the managerial side of Barcelona next season. So that is it about it's all about Xavi. Looks like he is still refusing, as Joan Laporte and Deco are really trying to convince him to stay. But remember also that there is bad blood between Xavi and Deco. I think it's one of the reasons as to why Xavi said, I shouldn't really proceed with what is happening in here, because I'm not in good terms with the sporting director, and no manager can survive if at all he's not in good terms with the sporting director, because the sporting director hires you and sacks you. That is it. So let's conclude this episode with the story coming in through from Fabrizio Romano concerning Antonio Conte, as links have been signaled to us that Chelsea might be really looking to bring him back. This is what Fabrizio Romano had to say. There is also been a story about the possibility of Antonio Conte returning to Chelsea as manager. As things stand, I'm not aware of any concrete contact. Conte is waiting for the right proposal, but there is zero to report with these two clubs right now. So it's not going to happen for now, because Chelsea are not in talks with Antonio Conte. For Chelsea, media has gone ahead to make it a regular activity to come out and be to call out managers. Like for Antonio Conte is in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Is going to take on Man City, but when you look at how Leicester City had gone ahead to knock him out, they had already gone ahead to put out their stories there, and it was all in the draft to obviously be published. But because we are into the international break and the news is really limited, that's why you see it that you can see teams linked to any side anyhowly like that. I don't see the reason as to why Chelsea is gonna sack a manager, in just his first season. He's doing well for me because Chelsea is a side that is building their craft, and Todd Boehly is learning from his mistakes that you wouldn't have gone ahead to sack Thomas Tuchel. You would have gone ahead to give him one season to work with you, and then later, if at all he failed, you would have gone ahead to bring in another manager like Graham Potter. But just 3 months into the season of 2022-2023, we saw this guy got sacked. And when he got sacked, they brought in Graham Potter. Graham Potter, I think, lasted 6 months, was sacked, and Frank Lampard was brought to obviously take Chelsea to the finishing line of the season, and then Pochettino was brought in. Now, how do you sack 3 managers in a space of like 1.5 years? That is really incompetency. And for Pochettino, you just have to agree with him that players have been injured, and these are not players that he wanted to sign. These are players that were signed by a trigger-happy Todd Boehly, and it has now gone ahead to cost them very much. That is it. So for Antonio Conte, he's one of those managers that is linked to Barcelona. They are talking about him going to do a job at Juventus, Inter Milan, and very many other teams in there for you. And even Napoli is really thinking of really giving him a job to really take them to the days where they went ahead to win the Scudetto after 30 years, after the manager really pulled out. So that is it coming in through from Antonio Conte. And I think Antonio Conte cannot be allowed to return to Chelsea. And Chelsea cannot welcome a manager like Antonio Conte because he's an outspoken manager. He's very, very vocal. And you saw what he did when he was at Tottenham Hotspur, when he came out and did expose the board in media. He's that kind of person. And I think in the modern game, you wouldn't like to be having a person, right, who obviously acts like that as your manager to lead your team back to the glory days. So for Chelsea, I think they should just keep this guy around. They should just keep this guy around, They should keep him around and see what the rest is going to really give them. So thank you very much for watching through. Tell me your thoughts about David Raya injury worry in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about Javi adamant for really staying as a Barcelona manager, because the president, Joan Laporte, is convincing him to stay, but he's like, I'm keeping my word, I'm staying away from Barcelona after this season. And Antonio Conte to Chelsea being rubbished by the side of Fabrizio Romano. Do you think Chelsea have gone ahead to make a right decision? And which destination do you think is going to be for Antonio Conte, that is in this summer? Rokani David is my name. Don't forget to subscribe because we want to hit 20,200 subscribers. And don't forget to really smash the like button close to 300 times. The Muslims, Ramadan Mubarak. To the Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And you're left with how many days? 8 days to obviously call it the end of the Lent period, and Jesus Christ will resurrect from the dead. Guys, I'm out. See you in the next video. But England is hosting Brazil right now. Belgium and Northern Ireland is the game that is really taking shape in here. We out.